Transportation plays a key role in everyday life that we have, whether you're a civilian in the military of European descent, American, African. Anything we do involves transportation. We use freights to take over goods and services to other continents. We use vehicles to travel across our own continent, and something that could take up to months or even a year to get to now only takes days or weeks. Transportation also played a very key role in a lot of the wars that we fought. One in particular that I want to talk to you about is World War II. One of the things that helped America and our allies overcome a grip that our enemies had on us was transportation. And what provided us with that was the birth, and what I'd like to talk to you today about is the Jeep. It all started with the President, Woodrow Wilson, wanting us to provide some sort of transportation for our troops and our equipment from different places on the battlefield. Well, we didn't really have that back then. And he presented to all the car dealerships a challenge, if you will, to build a four-wheel drive SUV type vehicle that we know of today, but not back then, that can transport troops and equipment, high loads with a lightweight vehicle. And of that, two companies did come out with prototypes, the Willys and Ford's Pygmy. Both of them are almost identical in use. The Willys came out a little heavier, but either way, they were the same purpose. And I'm sure a lot of you have seen them before, the really old style Jeeps. Well, they weren't even Jeeps back then. They were Willys or Ford Pygmy. But later on, the Willys picked up and popularized over the war and the later wars such as Korea and Vietnam. And towards the 50s and 60s, it popularized enough that Willys sold their company, and the Willys model became the Jeep, and it was trademarked, and it was sold between many different companies, and it ended up being a part of Daimler Chrysler. But within those, there was a lot of different types of Jeeps as well. They modernized it and civilianized it, more applicable to people that want to do things as a person instead of moving utility and ammo. Some of the things they did were move the spare tire to the side, put a tailgate for easier access, and over the years they've made them more applicable to modernizing them and changing them to your own likings, such as soft tops versus hard tops, stereos, and more comfort on the inside. Also, much like the Ford Mustangs or the Honda Civics, they're very versatile in customizing to your own personality. You could see a Jeep the same year, same model, 6 or 7 of them, and they all look completely different because the owners like to do different things with them. Some people like to take Jeeps up into the mountains and go trailing. And some people like to go bahaing on the sand on the beach, and some people like to climb up big rocks with them. And some of them keep them standard the way they come. That's what's really cool about the Jeeps, the versatility and use that they can come across. Another thing that burst during World War II era with the Jeep, along with the Jeep idea, was the Wave. And I'm sure if you're not aware of it, if you're not a Jeep owner, you've probably seen where two Jeeps passing by on a road, you'll see one of them give a wave off, and sure enough, the other guy waves right back. And this is something that doesn't really explain unless you are a Jeep owner. It's just a Jeep thing, they say. Oh, you wouldn't get it, it's a Jeep thing. But really, it's beyond a Jeep thing. It's an American thing. Because if you look at the history behind the Jeep Wave, it wasn't because we were riding in a Jeep. It was because we were allies. And a lot of the times when they were in a lot of the times when they were in battle, they would be crossing through enemy territories or right on the verge of it. And you see a Jeep coming ahead towards you, or Willys at that time, or Ford Pigmy. And you would give a wave, and they would wave back, saying, "We are allies." Hence the birth of the Jeep wave. Another common thing the Jeeps picked up was the window. As folding down the window, back then they kept the frame because they learned that the enemy would put tripwire to try to decapitate the officers and those personnel riding in the Jeeps. So when Willys popularized it for the civilian model, they kept a lot of the nostalgia from that, such as the bumpers you see on the hoods and the hinges where it looks like the windows will go down. It's pretty neat to learn some of the history behind the Jeep, how it came from a military era, and the versatility and personalization you can use with these off-road vehicles. All the different types of uses they have, and some of the little knick-knack features such as the Jeep Wave or the foldable window that we have. I hope you guys learned a little more about the use of the Jeep and a little bit of its history. Thank you.